Hello, greetings, my Arsenal futurites, brothers and sisters. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Unfortunately, when I say unfortunately, I'm having some lunch. I don't know if you can see it. I'm having some lunch. I'm having some cereal. If you can see it, I apologise. I tried to turn the camera that way. So I'm gonna be really really quick this morning. Yeah, we're here to really do the review of the for me disappointing 1-1 draw between Arsenal and Manchester City, what took place on Sunday, just gone only a few days ago. And I've done some shorts recently about Arteta, about the squad and bits and pieces around that game, but I've not really sat down and given you a comprehensive summary, which will be a brief summary. Maybe down the line, International Week is coming up. We're planning some streams and some content around Arsenal. Is he the right manager? Is Arteta the right manager? Is he managing the players well? And things of that nature. But I'm here to give you a quick review. Don't forget, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the videos, because obviously, as you know by now, it helps with the algorithms. YouTube, YouTube are getting really fussy now. They if you don't, it's like if you don't like anything more than sort of like say 10 times, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays in one place. So you've got to really smash the likes as many as you as possible. We're trying to get our first 100. I can't believe it. We've been here for 2 years and we still haven't even got 100 yet. But we know we didn't come on here for a while, for 8 months I think it was. But 35 subscribers is really really miserly and poor. But thanks for those of you who've subscribed anyway and liked. But we need more of you guys, please. Yeah, don't want to be begging. But that game against Manchester City at the weekend was a disappointing 1-1 draw. I gave you my teams in the preview as to why I more or less wanted rather than expected, because at the back of my mind I had a feeling that he was going to play Mourinho in the eight. It turns out that he looked like he played Rice and Rice and Mourinho in the two eights. Obviously, Rice played on the left eight, and of course Mourinho played on the right, and of course Zubimendi sitting. And that's a very unbalanced midfield because all three of those guys are more industrious. Even though Mourinho plays more attacking for Spain, as you can see with those goals he scored recently, and even over time, he does seem to play more attacking for Spain. Zubimendi is more of the deep line playmaker. Like for those of you who remember a few years ago when we had the great Andrea Pirlo for Italy, he was a very deep line midfielder. He got the ball off the defence and created the first wave of transition, if you like, from that deep line position in midfield. And that's what Zubimendi does for us. But Zubimendi is not that level. I'm not saying that he's Pirlo. He's not. But he's very good. And I also think that because he plays Mourinho there as an attacking eight, he kind of takes away from much of Zubimendi's game, because Zubimendi is able to really express himself as much as he'd like to. And I think there's a player there who's kind of like roaring to break out of his shell, if you like. And because he's playing Mourinho there, it's keeping Zubimendi back. And he needs to look at that. Someone needs to get him to one side and say, look, Mikel, you know that midfield you're playing. I know that when you went up to Anfield a few weeks ago, you played that because you're probably cautious about the Liverpool attack. But when you're playing at home against Manchester City, even though they're a very good side, it's not the Man City of 3 or 4 years ago, and you're playing against, you're playing in front of your home fans, you're gonna need to kind of up the ante. You're gonna need to be in the front foot. And because he plays Marino's not a quick player. He's a slow player. He's more calculated. He reminds me a little bit of Edu. Who used to be our sporting director. Who's now at Nottingham Forest. Edu. I remember when Edu played for us a number of years ago with the Invincibles. He played just like Mourinho, but the difference of Edu, he was more of a goal threat than Mourinho is. Funny you should say that because he scored a lot of goals for Spain, but not for Arsenal. He scored a few last season when he came in as a striker when Havertz was injured. But by nature, Edu was more box to box. Mourinho was more steady and he can move up the field, but he's not that, how can I say, that culture box to box. Say like even if you change it over to somebody like a Paul Scholes, a Man United, you know, Roy Keane probably is a better example actually as a box to box midfielder. And so he's playing more or less he's putting round pegs in square holes. Or, you know what I mean? He's not playing the plays in the right positions. Eze should have played in a 10. I would have played Eze in a 10 against Manchester City, or I would have played him if you can't play him, if you don't want to play him, if you don't want to play with a 10, at least play him in the other attacking 8 where Mourinho was playing. Because at least with Eze, he can move upfield. He's got a bit more pace. He's a bit more of a goal threat, and he can create chances. He's one of the best chance creators in the Premier League. Even including some of the players who play for top 6 teams. He's one of the best, and that's why we signed him. And you have him on the bench up at Anfield. I can kind of understand up at Anfield, but he still should have played. But at home to Man City, I think that's appalling, and that's all on the manager. And I've been saying for a long time now that I'm Arteta out. I've been Arteta out from since 2023 when he fuffed that first title challenge because he'd been at the club 4 years, and I don't think he should take you 4 years. At that time, he probably spent about, I don't know, maybe 600 mil, about £600 million. I think he spent that time. That was over £500 million, and I think it should take you 4 years at a club like Arsenal who do back their managers. I don't think it should take you 4 years to win a title. The team inherited was a great team. It was a decent team. It was a cup side, hence why he won his first. He won in his first. It wasn't even his first full season. He won the season he came because he came almost halfway into the season when he came in 2019, and he had the players there who really were Emirates players and some of Arsene Wenger's players from his last, era, as it were. Aubameyang was signed by Arsene Wenger. Some people think he was signed by Emirates, but he wasn't. He was Arsene Wenger's probably his last signing at Arsenal was Aubameyang. When we gave Sanchez to Manchester United. So all of these players helped Arteta, especially Aubameyang, because he scored those goals in the final against Chelsea. Those players, what he inherited and which he won the FA Cup, were really Wenger and Emery's players, and he's still in the job because of Aubameyang and those players. And he quickly, abruptly sold them off. Some of them he gave away free, like some Ozil went away free, and Ozil came out and spoke about the Muslims in the Far East. But at the same time, someone's you've got to look into the bigger picture about the club. Is the club going to win? And you should be ready to dust off players just like that. You need to be calculated. It didn't take long to get with Oba. I think Oba was in the wrong, turned up late for the Spurs game, but you got to learn how to compromise, and you got to learn how to come to like a middle ground with your players. And I think that was the first sign that maybe his man management is poor, because he's fallen out with a few players. Guendouzi's another one. I know that he can be a bit of a hothead, but he was a young player coming up at the time. And I think someone's going to take them to one corner and be like a shoulder for them to lean on, and then talk to them. See what's on their mind, and then you come out that way. But I think a lot of his choices and decisions have been so abrupt. Yes, of course you want clarity, of course you want shrewdness, but you've got to know when and where and how to do it. But we're probably slightly drifting away from the match. It was a 1-1 draw. Northern Ireland scored on 9 minutes for Man City. They came through the middle, and surprisingly, I missed a goal when it happened. I was watching what was up the road at a friend's house because I don't have Sky at this moment in time. I've got to try and get it back, and I missed a goal because I went out of the room to answer a call. And as I came back into the room, they'd scored. I couldn't believe it because I thought up until that point, Arsenal looked okay. City were coming forward, but I didn't think we were going to concede, and we did. And as soon as they scored, I heard my friend bang, and he started swearing, and I went in, and we 1-0 down. And then you could see that the team was scared to go forward. We don't want to attack. We seem very, very reluctant to move forward, to get back at teams. When we were playing 2 seasons ago, even 3 seasons ago, when we should have won the league, the first season of the challenge, I think it's the 22-23 season, that season when Saliba got injured, and then it derailed our season. I think we should have won the league that season. Even though at that time Manchester City were better than us, I think we should have won the league that season. And we came back the following season, and we got, I think, a record amount of points, even more than the Invincibles or something, if I seem to remember. and we should have won the league the first of the two. Season after we could have won it as well, which would have been the 23-24. We were playing some scintillating football. We're hitting teams on a break. We're keeping possession. I like the way Zinchenko at the time was inverting. Gabriel Jesus was excellent up front for us with his pace, with his hold up play. And it looked as though Arsenal at that time looked as though they were going to do something. If they weren't going to win the league, they looked as though they could have won one of the cups, FA Cup or Carabao Cup, or they looked as though they could have done something in Europe. We look a far cry from that, and we've got better players now. We've got a better squad now. So something isn't clicking, something isn't gelling, and all you can say is that it's the manager, because if the players are better, could you imagine Jurgen Klopp with this team? Could you imagine Pep Guardiola with this team? Even Antonio Conte or someone, Ancelotti, these guys, these great managers. Can you imagine if they had these players now? And even the players we had a year or two ago, we would have won the league. At least we would have won the league by then, or won the cups, or done something in Europe. But he's wasting time, and as time goes on, all this money the conkeys are giving to him, time is going, and he's wasting the money, and he's wasting the time, and he's wasting the players, because he's playing them out of position, and he's not playing the team to their strengths. I mean, what was Eze supposed to do? He's yelling at him the other day because he wasn't hugging the touchline. Yeah, and Eze just came, give the guy some time to bed in. You're supposed to explain to him what is expected of him, but he puts players out there and he expects them to kind of like read his mind. And if they don't read his mind, he goes on at them. And if he's not careful, he will lose the dressing room. He will lose the dressing room. I've got a friend who goes regularly. He says that he thinks that maybe it's a sign. Some of our lack of performances is another sign. It's an early sign that maybe some of the players are not on board with him, and that maybe he might be starting to slowly lose the dressing room. So I don't know. I mean, my friend goes to a lot of the games. I've not been for a long time because I'm disillusioned with this club. I've not bought merch for the last piece of merch I bought was from the club was 3 years ago. I bought one of the retro shirts. When I do buy Arsenal merch, but I don't buy it from the club. I buy it from outside the club. But I don't. But I've not spent the money. I've not spent a penny within the club for about 3 years because I'm really, really, really fed up of the club, fed up of how they ran, fed up of how we play. And some of the decisions are really appalling with the players and getting the players injured. Now Madueke's out for 2 months. Havertz was injured before the start of the year. Now he came back looking sharp. Now he's out again. It's like a circle. It's like a never-ending circle of bad luck and misfortune and bad management from the management and the staff at the club. I would like to speak some more because I'm having my lunch here now. But I would like to speak some more. I'm really pushed because I've got to work. And I'm going to come back later on with the preview of the game against Port Vale. We're playing Port Vale tonight in the Carabao Cup. And I expect to see some big changes. I want to see some of the youngsters play in that game. 1-1, back to the match briefly. Erling scored Ireland scored in 9 minutes. Some say Saliba was at fault. Some say Gabriel was at fault. From what I saw, the both of them could have got to him. But then Erling went 1-on-1 with the keeper. And when Erling goes 1-on-1 with the keeper, that is it. It's going to be a goal. We equalised in stoppage time. Martinelli scored, I think, 2 minutes into stoppage time, and everybody was celebrating as if we won the Champions League. And that's another thing. The mentality at Arsenal is poor, and it stems from the manager. We score so late on. You get the ball, run into the semicircle, and start again, because you never know. We could attack again. I know it was deep into injury time, and score another or set another chance up. But we were contented with a 1-1 draw. It looked like the manager was content with a 1-1 draw, and the players were. And if we're going to have a manager of that mentality and players of that mentality, it comes across as if they say that we're just putting up the bare minimum. Under George Graham, under Arsene Wenger, and especially in the early years under Arsene Wenger, Tony Adams would have said, "Guys, get the ball, run back to the semicircle. No messing around. We can celebrate afterwards." The same with George Graham, but this manager is mediocre. He's a mediocre manager. He was a mediocre player. Let's not get me wrong. He was decent. He was not a bad player, but he was never one of the elite players. And I think hence it's rubbed off some of his mediocre vibes and insight has rubbed off onto the players, for want of a better word for the time being. Anyway, my people, you take care of yourselves. I mean, that's all I've got to say. I've got nothing else to say now. None Man Reiki's injured. He's out for a couple of months. He's injured his knee, so it's ACL. We seem to be getting a lot of ACLs. I don't know if it's a training. Some people are saying it's the pitches that we train on. It's even could even have something to do with the Emirates pitch. Or some are saying that the Emirates pitch is very hard, and there's a lot of things. People even say that we should restructure the Emirates pitch and restructure the pitch that we train on in training. There's a lot of things people have said over the last few weeks about the amount of injuries that we keep getting. I think an investigation is needed because it can't keep going on. We're losing, especially our key players. And Mandrake, even though we didn't want him, he's been playing well. He's probably been our best attacker this season so far, surprisingly. He looked very good before he came off against Man City. He was carrying a threat to them, even though there's no end product, but he was getting the ball and driving. And if he could work on his end product, and then he'll be fine. Don't forget to smash a like on this video. Look back at all of our videos. Look back at our shorts. We did a couple of live streams, but they never came out, so I'm going to take them down. Look at our shorts, look at our content, and very soon, my people, I promise you, we're going to be doing some live streams so you can get to know us, we can get to know you, we can have like a face-to-face. At the moment, the Wi-Fi I've got is not strong enough for me to do a stream, so I need to work on that. I'm going to go and get it sorted out, get it connected in hopefully the next few weeks, and so we can start doing some lives and so on, And very soon after that, we're going to do some streams of games, live games. So we're an Arsenal play, not necessarily just Arsenal. Of course, we're an Arsenal channel. But if there's a big game in the Champions League, if there's a big game in the Premier League, or even in the FA Cup, or even in the Caribou Cup for that matter, as long as there's a big game, we're even thinking about doing. Me and my team are talking yesterday about doing some games like Bundesliga. If Bayern Munich are playing against, say, Dortmund, if Italy, if the Milan derby or Juve against Inter, and so on, etc. You get one my drift. El Clasico in Spain, Madrid and Barcelona. So if there's a big game and we're able to do it, we're not working, we're not too busy, we're here and we're around, we'll try and do that for you. But at the moment, it's early days. We're just slowly, gradually building the channel. So, but we know that when we start to do these things, more of you will come on board and we'll be big. We know that. We've got a lot of, hope and confidence that this channel is going to grow. But we need you to keep subscribing and keep liking and keep leaving your comments and keep sharing our videos. If you go into the match later on, I'm going to come back later and do the preview of that Port Vale game. But for those of you who might not hear that stream later on, you might be busy. If you're going down there or going wherever they are, I forgot where they were now. If you're going up there, you look after yourselves and keep warm. Look after yourselves and each other. Stay out of trouble, yeah? And don't forget, Arsenal Future loves you. You take care of yourselves. Speak to you soon. Peace out. Adios.